Taoiseach, the reports of the premature and very sudden death of Savita Halapanavar and her baby in University Hospital Galway are particularly tragic and harrowing, and I think shocking to all concerned. And I think we all would extend our sympathies to her husband Praveen and their families at this very sad time for them. Now, for decades, Ireland has had and has always aimed towards the lowest maternal death rates in pregnancy and during childbirth. That has always been a fundamental aim of our country and of our society. And it's in that context, and indeed we do have, as we speak, by any international standards and facts and figures, one of the lowest in Europe. But that's a very cold comfort to Praveen Halapanavar this morning. And equally, I would say it's because our deaths in maternal deaths are so rare. It's because of that, and because this death is so shocking, that I believe we need an independent inquiry outside of those already established, with personnel from outside the country to participate on such a panel of inquiry, to establish the full circumstances surrounding the death of Savita Halapanavar in Galway University Hospital. I think an internal inquiry in itself will not suffice, although I understand that the hospital and the group of hospitals will conduct such an inquiry. I understand the HSE will as well. There is precedent for such ministerial inquiries in situations into the past. Confidence in our maternity hospitals, in our maternity services, is paramount, absolutely essential. And also it's important for the legislature and for those in terms of the formulating of law in our country that we're all, as independently as possibly, fully made aware of the circumstances surrounding this particular matter. And so that informed analysis can take place. I think it's very, very necessary, Taoiseach, given the rarity of such deaths in Ireland and in our maternity hospitals.
Thank you, Deputy.
And I would ask Taoiseach, would you confirm to the House, or would you agree that such an independent inquiry outside of the group of hospitals, outside of the HSE, is required?
Thank you, Deputy. Taoiseach.
Well, first of all, Concordia, may I say that I would like to extend our sympathy to Praveen Halapanavar and the death of his wife Savita. This is a case of maternal death where a child has been lost, a mother has died, and a husband is bereaved. And that's a tragedy. And it is true to say that we have exemplary standards in our maternity hospitals, and the fact that this young woman lost her life is a personal tragedy and a family tragedy. No words of ours here can deal with that loss. I think it'd be very appropriate, Deputy Martin, that we don't rule anything out here. But there are two reports and investigations going on at the moment. An internal investigation by the Galway Roscommon University Hospital Group, and a second by the HSE National Incident Management Team. I think it would be very appropriate that the Minister for Health should receive both those reports, that we should consider those reports and decide what the best option from there is. It is very important and imperative that the standards that apply in our maternity units in the country be kept at the very highest level of professionalism and competence. And for that reason, I don't rule anything out here, but I think it would be only appropriate that the two investigations that are being conducted be allowed to be concluded, and that the Minister for Health receive those reports and that we consider them at that point.
Thank you, Taoiseach.
Taoiseach, first of all, I think my objective here is not political. Just want to make that very, very clear. But I think most people, and we are lay people, and I'm a lay person, but on a very preliminary reading, it would seem to me that this woman should not have died in this hospital in these circumstances. Now, I accept that's a subjective, very early sort of assessment. But given the enormity of the issues involved here, and I think first and foremost, a woman has died in circumstances which are very rare. It happens very rarely in Ireland. And it's because of the rarity of the occurrence that, in my view, demands an exceptional response. And that exceptional response is an independent inquiry. And that doesn't exclude the internal inquiries that are underway. It might be useful if the internal inquiries are aware of the fact that there is to be an external independent inquiry. Because people ultimately, whether we like it or not, will not have confidence in an internal inquiry. Questions will inevitably be raised, unfortunately, as they have been in the past, in inquiries such as this. And that's why I think it's very, very important that there would be an external independent inquiry established in relation to this particular issue. And it has a read across to other issues, as you can read in the newspapers and in the commentary this morning as well. And let's be clear about that. And that is why, in terms of the independent report on the A, B and C case, and when that is to be published, people are going to draw conclusions. And that is why you do actually need, above and beyond everything else, a very clear independent clinical inquiry here as to what happened and why this woman lost her life in the circumstances that she lost her life.
Thank you, Deputy.
We do need that, I would submit to you, Taoiseach. And I would ask that you would give that commitment to have such an independent inquiry.
Thank you. Taoiseach.
Well, nothing we can say or do here will bring back Savita Halapanavar, or indeed make up for the loss of a wife and child. I don't think we should say anything about this until we are in possession of all the facts. I don't in any way want to decry the capacity of the internal investigation that is being conducted by the Galway Roscommon Hospital Group, nor to decry in any way the investigation being conducted by the HSE National Management Team. I think, Deputy Martin, in the interests of this case and for all others, that the Minister for Health being able to receive both those investigative reports to analyse those based on the facts as they are determined by the professionals in both those investigative teams, and that we decide then what is the best option to do based on those facts. I don't wish to say any more about the case because neither you nor I are in possession of all the facts here. In respect of the expert group report into the ABC case, I can confirm to you, Deputy Martin, that the report has been completed. The report was delivered yesterday evening to the Department of Health. The report has not yet been seen by the Minister. The Minister is in Cork this morning. He will obviously read the report, reflect on the report, and bring the report to Government when he's ready to do so.